Listen to the jingle, the rumble, and the roar as she glides along the woodlands through the hills and by the shore. She's fine and tall and handsome, she's known quite well by all. You can't find no equal to the Wabash Cannonball.
Hi, I'm Diane Rossbach. I'm with the Albuquerque Folk Festival, and we're very, very excited about all the wonderful performers that we have coming up on October 9th, right here in Albuquerque. We'll be at the Bosque School. The festival goes 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. all day outside. Fabulous fun with jams and performers and workshops. Bring your blanket. You'll have a really good time. This particular moment, it gives me great pleasure to say that I have 2/3 of the Limeliters on deck. I have Andy Corwin up on top and Dan Bowling down, kind of centered, very well centered individual, I might add. And Steve
Brooks is kind of inaccessible at the moment. It's off the grid somewhere in Colorado.
Right.
He couldn't be here. I'm sure he
At least that's what he said. So.
But I'm sure the two of you will be able to handle that particular lapse.
We are delighted to be here with you.
Likewise.
And we're glad you are here. We're going to upload all of this information ultimately to Facebook and share it all over and make sure that all of the folks around and about Albuquerque and beyond get to know the real Andy Corwin and Dan Bowling. I gotta say, the line, that's music that comes close to my heart. I have loved it for a long time. So I was very excited several years back to find out through Dan that that the tradition was being brought forward. How'd you guys get involved and have the opportunity to continue that sound in the band?
Well, you know, there's been a continuity for 60 years, 61 years at this point. And one of the original 3 founding members of the Limeliters, Alex Asilev, is still with us. He just turned 88 years old. But Alex kept the band going for 50 years, along with Lou Gottlieb, who was the bass player, upright bass. And he was kind of the comedian that out in front of the band. The tenor singer was, of course, Glenn Yarbrough, the legendary golden voice of Glenn Yarbrough. Glenn left the Limeliters very early on, in 1963. So it was always, though, a continuum of replacing somebody who had left the band. And sadly, Lou Gottlieb passed away in 1996. They approached me in 1996 to come in and replace Lou Gottlieb. I was in another band at that time, and we had a record deal with Warner Brothers, and I thought I was going to be a rock star or something. So I turned him down in 1996, but 8 years later, Alex came back and invited me in 2004 to join the Limeliters. So I've been now at this point, what's that, 17 years I've been in the Limeliters. So I'm the longest running member at the moment. And I overlapped. Alex continued to perform until about 2009. So, and also got an opportunity to perform with Glenn Yarbrough a couple of times back 2009, 2010, around then. Interestingly, what happened in 2000, when was it, Daniel? In 2000, beginning of 2019, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
The beginning of 2019, the fellow who was occupying the position that Glenn Yarbrough began, the tenor, the high voice in the group, was a fellow by the name of Don Maravich. Don had been in the group for about 8 years at that point, and suddenly got a phone call one day, and Don said, "Hey, the Kingston Trio just offered me a job, so bye." And Don is still, he's with the Kingston Trio.
The long tradition of musical chairs continues.
And suddenly, wow, how are we going to replace Don? I just happened to run into a friend of mine, wonderful guy, lives here in Austin by the name of Charlie Stewart. And I put it to Charlie, who kind of has his fingers in a lot of pies and knows a lot of people, immediately said, Daniel Bowling, call Dan Bowling. And I said, oh, I don't think he'd want to do it. And he said, oh, call him. So
it's 3 in the morning. He's in Australia. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't know where you were. It turns out Daniel was in New Zealand, if my memory was.
New Zealand or Australia, one of the two. I forget.
He was on tour as doing a solo act, and I left him a message, and within an hour I heard back from him. So very shortly, I didn't even consider anybody else. When I found out I could bring Daniel into the band, it was golden from the get-go. So Daniel's now 2 years we've been together in the Limeliters. Steve, a few years prior to that, joined the band. So it's just the turnover. It's the same band in terms of the act that we do. It's the same in a lot of ways, although we bring our own personalities
and some of our own
stage with us.
Multi-talented. You are each talented in your own rights and have
Thank you.
So much to bring to the group. And it's kind of wonderful that you carry the tradition forward as well as organically work yourselves forward with new music and your new video talents and so on. So you're alive. So the tradition is alive, and your band.
And we're very fortunate to have inherited the template that Lou and Glenn and Alex created in the early 60s. And along with, the Kingston Trio has a very similar history of turnover. People move on, people died, people have been replaced. The Kingston Trio still going strong. The Brothers Four, another group from that era that we love getting together with and performing folk music concerts with, which actually the Brothers Four has one of the original members is still active, still performing, Bob Flick, wonderful guy. Anyway, so we're keeping this sound and this repertoire alive and current as we tour around and perform.
I've been doing some hard traveling, I thought you know. I've been doing some hard traveling way down the road. I've been doing some hard traveling, hard rambling, hard gambling. I've been doing some hard traveling, Lord. On my journey now to Mount Zion, on my journey now to Mount Zion, on my journey now to Mount Zion. Now Mount Zion, I'm a journey now, Mount Zion. Would take nothing, Mount Zion. I'm a journey now, Mount Zion. I've been hitting that Lincoln Highway.
But I don't know in your lives, but in my life, I kind of lost like a year and a half. How have you
just recently? Yeah.
To deal with that? You've brought out some new music. I know that. I can see that. I've heard it. But you want to talk about a little?
Sure.
All of that. You've added much more than simply song lyrics.
Well, Dan, I've been talking. Daniel, carry on.
Well, sure. We were just getting up some really good momentum with the latest configuration and had a couple of tours under our belt. We were doing shows with the Kingston Trio and the Brothers Four, as Andy mentioned, and then everything came to a screeching halt for us, just as it has for everyone else. And now, while a solo act could continue to perform over the internet, that's not something that's viable for an ensemble unless they're all living in the same spot, and we're not. I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Andy and Steve are both down in Austin, Texas. So we had to figure out ways that we could continue to present new music to folks through the internet, and that's not a simple equation, as I say, when you're not in the same place, because the latency of the internet makes you sound like you're in a wash machine. if you're trying to perform harmonies together. So we got creative. Fortunately, Andy is a great video editor, and so we made some modest investment in green screens and taught ourselves how to use them. And we'd each record our bit individually, and then Andy would splice them together to make it feel like we were in the same place. And we've got several new songs, a couple from each of us, that we've put together. And Andy, I think, might have one ready to cue up.
I have one ready, which is a great example. And this one we had a lot of fun with. First of all, this is a song that is just so perfect for the Limeliters that Daniel wrote before he joined the band. But it's just, it's a perfect song for the Limeliters. And well, as you'll see, since we had the freedom to do this, something kind of crazy, Daniel's sister is a marvelous artist.
Yeah,
and she created, as you'll see, this wonderful drawing that this music video is based on. The song is called Dad's Garage.
Sleeves rolled up, work gloves on, a dust mask on my face. It's time to sort and pack and load and ship my papa's place. Chunks of chain, hunks of board, a couple dozen scriptures of the Lord. Things we can't, things we must. Under 40 years of dust. Chest waders with the feet cut off, hanging on the wall of my dad's garage. I don't know what he kept them for, but I'm pretty sure he never wore those chest waders with the feet cut off, lest maybe he lost his mind. But when somebody goes through things of mine, no telling just what they'll find.
That throne-shaped toilet paper holder really reeks of class.
Victorian era serving tray with dead moths under glass.
What to keep, what to throw, who the heck is ever gonna know? What we pitch, what we save, take that secret to my grave.
It's just a little clip from that, and it was let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. It's fun to have the freedom, like the way that I could just fly everybody in.
Yeah, that's a treat. I wish we could do
was,
that on stage.
I had a lot of fun with making that little video, and we put it out on YouTube and Facebook, and I've lost track of how many views it's gotten.
I haven't been keeping.
I think it's up to 11 million views.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Well, I loved it. I loved it. That is a great clip, and it is it so typifies the vibe that you guys put forward. Really wonderful.
We're having a lot of fun with it.
Tell me more about what plans you've already got in place that are coming up for the future. Do you feel like things are opening up enough for you to be moving back to audiences?
That's anybody's guess. We've rescheduled some of our concerts 3 times at this point, and it could happen again. But we do have the Kerrville Folk Festival the week before the Albuquerque Folk Festival, and then we have dates in Texas and Florida in November, and also in February, I think, and then in March.
We're keeping our fingers crossed.
Out in California, we're hoping that all of
California
those
next April,
we can fill in around them. But it's been an interesting ride for everyone. We're just fortunate that we're all still healthy, and we hope our audience is too. And we're looking forward to getting back together.
Yeah.
I have seen a few of your videos that you have posted out to Facebook already. They're great. The eyes. They always
one of my favorites is song. There's one song Steve and I collaborated on that we've also been having a lot of fun with. We mentioned the Kingston Trio, and people that remember the Kingston Trio generally remember the song about the guy in the Boston subway who can't get off the subway because he doesn't have another nickel.
Charlie and the MTA. Now, Steve and I felt this song was badly in need of an update. So we would like to present for you and to our friends in the Kingston Trio the story of Charlie and the TSA.
Let me tell you all a story about a man named Charlie tried to fly out of JFK. He was 2 hours early, but before he boarded, had to pass through the TSA.
As he waited in line, he had a chance to read the sign that told him things he'd better not do. But unbeknownst to Charlie, they had changed the regulations. He was carrying too much shampoo.
And did he ever return? No, he never returned. And his fate is still unlearned. He missed his flight, he's gonna miss the next one. He's the man who never returned.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. People should go out to your website, which is limeliters.com.
Limeliters.com.
Right. And your Facebook, Limeliters. You've probably got some, I guess I remember, some YouTube videos and other things out there that people
Oh,
can
definitely.
get very familiar with.
In fact, if you go to YouTube and you type in Limeliters, there's a 50 years of Limeliters videos there.
I just want you guys. Okay.
Well, we're there too.
Interestingly, though, there is no GH in Limeliters.
No,
so
no.
you got to spell it without a GH. Limeliters.
Well, it has been a total pleasure talking to you this afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
For us too, Diane.
Wonderful historical bits and getting to know you a little better. I'm sure that if folks are going to love the video as we put it out there, and we are going to love listening to you, 3 of you. Let's join you on October 9th here in Albuquerque at the Bosque School campus, just off Coors Road. And it's an outdoor festival. Be sure you're doing some jams or some workshop sessions as well, actually.
One of each, I think.
One of each.
Oh, fantastic. So people should bring their instruments of choice and sit in on that for sure.
Yeah. We're hoping for lots of bagpipes and bassoons.
Accordions, yeah.
We'll put in an order. We will.
Y'all come on out. Have fun.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Albuquerque Folk Festival.
We'll see you on October 9th.
Come on and take a walk with me through this green and growing land. Walk through the meadows and the mountains and the sand. Walk through the valleys and the rivers and the plains. Walk through the sun and walk through the rain. Here is a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Oh, her power shall rest on the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all.